Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am coming on here to tell you that in this video, I'm going to be painting another little 12 by 12. It'll be the second in this series. The third in the series is not going to happen because I forgot to put on my video, but I'm going to do an experiment and I would like you to play along. In my videos, if you followed me for any amount of time, you realize that I've been trying to use either music or background. I was trying to use sound that was royalty free so I didn't get dinged. Then I bought Epidemic and I've added some jazzy music to the last video. I had a really interesting comment though. Somebody said, oh my goodness, I always prefer to hear you speak than to hear the music. Some of you are like, I like the music. So what I'm going to do in this video is when I'm actually painting, I'm just going to ramble. I'm going to tell you some stories. We'll see what comes out. I don't even have a plan. So I'm just going to hit play and do voiceover. But your deal, your part is that you have to comment. You have to like, you have to comment and let me know which one you prefer, because that'll give me the direction in the future. Do you like just watching? I picked decent music. It was nice jazzy music. I paid for Epidemic, which is a royalty-free music site. But I may even, just to throw you all off, I may even add a little layer of music into this video. So here goes. I hope you enjoy this video. I'm painting another 12 by 12, but the challenge is, do you like the voiceover or do you like the last video where I just painted and you got to listen to some lovely jazz? Here we go. It is the second 12 by 12 that is going to be put out into the world in 2025, January 9th, but I'm doing a reflection series. So I'm gonna be painting this reference photo of this canoe and a bit of reflection. And if you're following along, you'll see the first one I did in my last video. Today we're doing another video, and I like this setup. I'm sitting by my sliding door window, and I think the light is great. I could pull this a little closer, I imagine, but I also have to paint. I have to figure out how to do it so that you can see and that I can access everything very easily. So I'm going to be color blocking. Color blocking is when I do, I lay color on the entire painting. It is not the finished painting. The next layer has to come after it dries and the next day. But I'm gonna paint along with you now a little canoe scene. Are you a canoeer? Do you go out and do you canoe? I just love these images. This is very much going to be a fall scene. I'm already noticing that in my drawing, I need to make this canoe a little bit longer based on my drawing, but come along. Let's paint a canoe. I will probably start with the canoe and go from there. Yes, that's what I'll do. I'll start with the canoe and then I'll probably work the tree line and the water and then start with the water and the sky. Okay. Now to choose what I'm going to watch on YouTube while we're painting. Let's watch a gardening show. So here we go. This is the voiceover as promised. I don't even have a clue what I'm going to talk to you about because the video, I'm not speeding it up. The video is about 20 minutes long and I am just going to ramble for maybe 20 minutes. Or I was just thinking as I recorded that intro that maybe I would ramble and then turn to the music and you guys then just have a valid thing to choose from. But I'm just gonna start. This is a few days after Christmas. It's just before New Year's. I'm planning to have a New Year's party. But I had to do some work in between. Like I've said, I have the Square Foot Show coming up January 9th, so I have to submit paintings for that. But I am just an absolute wreck, guys. I have had such problems with, I fell and then I fell again. So the first time I fell, I was bringing up Christmas decorations and I slipped. My Christmas decorations are all in a storage closet in my basement that has a cement floor. It's a fairly big space. So I have my Rubbermaid containers down there. Everything's full. I can even, it's such a nice large space that I can even leave Christmas trees set up and just wrap them in sheets, which is absolutely wonderful. But I stepped on a lid that I didn't see and I almost did the splits and full up landed on my knee. And man, did it hurt. And my daughter and her kids were over. My other kids were coming over because we were going to decorate the Christmas tree. We were setting up the Christmas tree. So I managed to hobble my way up the stairs, and my daughter helped me out by getting me ice, and I just sat, and I had to sit for the rest of the day and iced my knee. So the Christmas tree was lovingly decorated by my daughter and the kids. The bottom 2 feet, of course, had a lot of ornaments because the children are little. And that was the first thing I did. So it's been 3 weeks since I had that fall. The knee is still tender, and I've jerked it a few times sillily, and I think probably re-injured it, but I didn't ever get it checked out because I think I'm fine. It's not still swollen, and my husband did have a brace, and he let me use the brace, and that helped. But oh my gosh, the couple of times when I moved the wrong way, did that ever hurt? So now I'm trying to balance, fitness level. I'm trying to not eat as much because I can't move as much, which is a real drag because I tend to do a lot of steps in a day. I go back and forth. So planning my day and trying to figure out how to get around with this sore knee was a real drag. Now, it did force me to slow down just before Christmas. Not a bad thing. Some of you may even say, this is a good thing. I mean, wrecking my knee is not a good thing, but the slowing down is a good thing. So now I'm on the mend and I'm doing fine. And I had to be at Crown and Press Gallery yesterday for a shift between 9 and 5. Now, if you don't know, Crown and Press Gallery, crownandpress.com, is a gallery that I own, and it's a cafe gallery, and we opened it a year and a half ago. We represent 35 artists, Canadian artists, and it's a marvelous place to be. And I had to be there. I'm usually not slotted. I had to be there for the shift because one of our staff, was sick. Yeah, that's what happens. Family gets together over Christmas, people get sick. So I had to be there. And it was a lovely day. Lots of people were coming in. People were having coffee. It was lovely to wish people Happy New Year's and find out about their Christmas celebrations and things like that. And I had a client come in wanting a specific painting. So I could not find the painting. The painting was on our website. It was a little 6x6 painting, so it wasn't like huge. So it could get lost somewhere in our closets, but I looked everywhere. I even phoned the employee that was off sick to find out where she might store it because she's the one that usually, organizes the closets. We couldn't find it. The only thing she could think of was the fact that it could have been sold and not marked off, which has happened once in a while. So I could not find it. I told the customer, just a minute, I'm going to go down to the basement and I'm going to see if I can find it in our what we call the art dungeon. And I was looking very fashionable this day. I had lovely wide leg pants on and some suede boots and my beautiful black glasses with gold. And I went down the stairs, and what did I do but trip on my pants? I managed to grab hold of the safety rail, which we had put in, and I'm so thankful that I'm so thankful for building code because this thing held tight. It caught me. I didn't tumble all the way down, but I did hit my head on the cement wall, a little bit of my forehead, and my glasses broke, fell right off, and I made a bit of a clatter, and our baker came out of the kitchen. She's like, Julia, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know. And I had to get myself together. I was okay, very shaken, but I had to get myself together, and I had to figure out how to go upstairs and to not be too shaken. And I guess I could have just gone up and said, hey, I just fell. But I didn't. I went upstairs. I composed myself. My broken glasses, I don't know if they noticed that the arm was off. So I had them all, sitting on my nose. What a day. What a couple of weeks. So now I've woken up this morning thinking, okay, what is the backlash of this fall? And I realized I must have bashed my forearm. My arm is very sore. My neck, of course, is sore. And my forehead is not bruised. It's not black and blue, but it's very tender. So it must be bruised, but it's just not black and blue. So guys, I am having a time, and it's okay. I will get through it. Today I'm going shopping with my girls, some of my girls, and I'm going to return a few things for Christmas, and then I'm going to we're going to go to a thrift store. And I'm thinking about doing a video at the thrift store about bringing my color swatches that I've had done. My daughter-in-law, Caitlin, is learning how to be a color consultant for personal colors for what you wear. And she is coming along, and so I'm gonna take my swatches, and we're gonna have some fun thrifting and looking for some clothes that go with my swatches. Leave a comment below if you really want that video to happen. I'm gonna do the videotaping, but I'm feeling a little bit, I'm wondering, is it my niche? Are you guys really gonna care? Do you want to see that? If you want to see a thrifting video, comment below, because I'm going to use my color swatches. My whole concept for my channel is living artfully, working and living artfully, living and working artfully. Let's put living first, living and working artfully, and even choosing your clothes, and even choosing your fashion can be an artful expression. So that's what I'm going to do today. So let me know. So what do you think of the painting so far? What you're seeing is me color blocking in the work and filling in the major color shapes. I think I tend to squint my eyes when I'm looking at the reference, and I just kind of block in shapes. I certainly don't paint every branch. I certainly don't paint every, little twig or anything like that. It's a lot of mass color, and you'll see a lot in those trees how the effect that of me when I pick up paint with my paintbrush, I don't mix on the palette. I mix on the canvas. So that creates all those little branches and stuff like that. I think it's a really effective paint stroke. What do you think? The next thing I'm going to have to do once this is all color blocked is photograph these pieces for the show and submit them. And I think I'm actually going to spend the morning figuring out how to show you how I photograph them and how I make them work for an online art submission. How many of you have been involved with online shows? They really took off during COVID. And I found that for a lot of artists that COVID was not so terrible. There's a lot of artists who are now in our square foot show that honestly went back to painting during COVID. If you're one of those artists, please tell me about your story. That would be really great. And actually, I'm all of a sudden thinking, oh, wouldn't this be a really neat series or live if I could figure out how to do a live interview with artists who came to their art during COVID or came back to their art. Because a lot of you guys, I know painting might not be how you make a living, but painting is something that you love and love to do. And I know for me, painting is my job. Painting is my career. And I'm really blessed that people like my work. Oh gosh, if people didn't like my work, what in the world would happen? Who knows? I would have all these paintings lined up. But if people didn't like my work and it wasn't my full-time job, I think I would still paint as full enjoyment of what painting does for me. Because even though it is my job, if I don't paint for a while, I can tell that painting for me is a way to release stress and to work out my feelings and emotions. And what a blessing it is that my job can help me in, all of that kind of therapeutic type experience too. So I'd love to hear from you if you are an artist who has come into her or his own during COVID, or if you're an artist that does art full time, and that you feel the same way as me, that even though it is your job, even though you have to get into the studio, you have to make it work, you have to get to work. It's like going to the gym, you got to do it. And once you get there, that vibe, that getting in the zone works and starts once you get there. You can't rely on your feelings. You just got to go to work. If that's you, and I would love to know if you feel that getting to work and getting in there releases a lot of stress for you as well and is very therapeutic. So here we are. We're at minute 16 or 17, and I'm still rambling. And I think I do have a break coming up where I start talking to you in the video. So I'm going to watch for that. And then it might be a little bit abrupt, and I might have to, all of a sudden just turn off this recording. But I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. Now, I find I'm using a lot of red in this painting, and I don't usually use red in my paintings unless it's an autumn color. And because the background is red, when I use the red, I can't really see it until I paint around it. I think I do discuss that when I stop painting and talk to you for a little bit. So here, still rambling. I hit the stop button just then and kind of went ahead in the video to see how many more minutes do I have to talk until I come to the break in this experiment. And I have about 2 or 3 minutes to go. So here we go. We're going to ramble for a little bit more. Sometimes people ask me what colors I use. I use golden mostly. I use Liquitex Heavy Body, and I use some Amsterdam. One of the really fun Amsterdam colors that I use is a fluorescent pink. I absolutely love it. It's slippery, number one, because it's a thinner body paint, but the fluorescent aspect actually gives a glow that works really, really well with the red background. So a green gold is my favorite color in golden, but I love to mix it with the turquoise in golden and the teal in golden. And I get the teal, for some reason I can't seem to get the turquoise in a big 250 mil or 500 mil container, but I can get the green gold in huge, like 500, like 2 cups of paint, and I can get the teal in bigger containers. So I do that. So getting my palette ready is something that I absolutely hate to do. I like a fresh palette. A fresh palette is inspiring, but taking the time, I think I must have ADHD, and I get completely bored by putting out all my colors. And then when it gets on my hands, I am never going to be a potter because just getting stuff on my hands is not something I love. I must have been a little kid that was always like, wash my hands, Mom, wash my hands. And, but getting my palette ready is not my favorite, but using a fresh palette is my favorite. But when my palette gets a little bit old, I use that to embellish paintings. I plan on that because I get a lot of prints that ordered that I need to embellish. And embellish is simply going back in and adding paint to the print, and it creates a unique piece. So there you go. I'm wondering if I'm rambling enough. I'm going to be quiet now for just a minute, and then you'll hear me come on and talk about the painting itself. It's coming along pretty good. I'm starting to do the reflection here, and I'm starting to, kind of, you can see I'm a little bit slower. I'm thinking about it. So I'm indicating those lines because I will probably go over them a little bit, but it'll give that indication of the reflection in the water. Okay, so thanks for listening to my rambling. I think at the end, there's a few more minutes of me just painting. I'm just going to put a jazzy music in there, and you can tell me whether you like it or not. But create a conversation, guys. Let's talk. Your comments help me think of new content, and it's fun. It's fun. I like to see who's showing up. Okay, so I have been color blocking. You just watched me do all sorts of color in this tree line, which was what gravitated me towards this image, was all the color. And I'm adding that, and I'm now trying to pull that color down into the reflection of the water. Now red, interestingly, when I paint red, the red pops only when I paint around it. When I paint something around the red, and that pops it through. So I've just painted what I call the positive shapes. So I've painted the boat, I've painted the tree line. The negative shapes are now going to be the water and the sky. However, I think I kind of think of the reflection as the positive shape as well. So now I am building. Now you can see that my main thought process, I think, while I was building this was my contrast and composition of those darks. So do you see how I've got this dark story kind of coming through the middle, and then I'm popping it around in places so that there's a line of color, and we'll see how that develops as I build down here. Okay, let's go. So here is another one, completely color blocked. All right, so my intent is to let this dry. It'll darken. It'll show me where I need to do some push and pull to pop that canoe forward a little bit. I may have to make this a little bit less intense to push it backwards. I do need to paint. I paint around the painting, so I will finish the sky around there, and I will finish the trees and the water around the sides, including the bottom. And I will probably get a finer brush and I will do some details on the canoe. But you can see that details are not really the goal here with this kind of impressionistic style. I'm building color, building shades, and I'm building the shapes of the color story. So the red is going through the painting, and then, but also you're being drawn up into the middle of the painting, which is this highlight here. So we're kind of using color to bring you to the focal point. Okay, so this is this series is going to be a really simple series of painting these 12 by 12s. I'm just going to paint them, and you guys can watch as the colors come together. Please ask any questions below so that I can use those questions for the next videos. And yeah, so this is a little series. Again, these paintings will be finished and available on squarefootshow.com on January 9th. It's going to be a very exciting show. We're doing one a month. So I'm producing 3 to 5 12 by 12s a month to sell. So that is how I have to also work my practice when I'm evaluating. I have to look at my time. I have to look at my due dates. I have to know when they are, and I have to build the work for those due dates. So if there's a gallery show that actually just asked me to be in their show in April, that means they need 4 to 6 larger paintings. That means I need to get 4 to 6 larger paintings done for the show, but also I need to back it up because I need to get them all documented to be photographed a couple of weeks before the show. So then I have to look at my calendar and figure out, my timing and when I'm working on these larger pieces. I have to pepper in my 3 to 5 12 by 12s and my abstract work that I'm kind of working on. I need to give myself permission in there to have a lot of fun working on that as well. So I hope you enjoyed this. Like right away, I can tell I'm getting distracted, but right away I can see this little dark area. I will probably throw in, some branches, things like that. That'll make the difference in the end. It'll give some detailing to the painting. Okay? All right, I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you haven't, because, they say a lot of people watch the videos and don't actually subscribe. It would be a big help to me if you did, because it sends me out to the algorithm. Okay, so what do you think? It's up to you guys. I asked a lot of questions in this video, so there should be a lot of answers. Do you want a thrifting video? Do you want to see my color choices using my swatches and how I use that thrifting? And do you like the music? Do you like the talking? Do you like the rambling? Because I think I probably could ramble. Have a happy new year, because this is going to come out the day before New Year's, and we'll see you in the next video, and we'll see you in 2025.